What's going on, rope breakers and WWE fans across the globe? This is the Sharpshoot with AuSSy, and I am AuSSy. I'm your host. We got a great show lined up for you, but before we start, I got to say thank you to those of you who sent tweets to us at Rope Break Wrestling and to my personal account at I am AuSSy, basically begging for the Sharpshoot's return. It is because of you that this episode is airing tonight. And tonight, like I said, we got a great show lined up for you. Let's get right into things with news and rumors. Starting off with the injury that's basically shaking up the card for Elimination Chamber. That is the injury of Rusev. You may or may not have heard by reading the story on ropebreakwrestling.com, but Rusev was seen with crutches at the SmackDown taping after his match with Ryback. It appears that Ryback tossed him out of the ring. He landed a little bit gingerly on his ankle, and the rest is history. The question is, will Rusev be able to go on Sunday? And if not, who replaces him? That's actually a question that one of you rope breakers asked. Mills Baby 504, aka Brandon, submitted the question: who do you see coming in and replacing Rusev in the Elimination Chamber should he be unable to compete? And that's a very good question. There's a few different options that they have right now. Obviously, Neville is who I would have booked in that spot to begin with instead of R-Truth. But because of the fact that it's Rusev that's injured and not R-Truth, and Neville already has a match scheduled with Bo Dallas, I am expecting that maybe it's more likely you see the likes of Bray Wyatt in the match now. Wyatt's kind of been into a little bit of obscurity. We haven't seen much of Wyatt lately, but he seems to be the only logical choice to continue that feud with Ryback. But with that being said, I should say I think Rusev will be able to compete. There's still, the SmackDown tapings are on Tuesday. Assuming that he just tweaked his ankle and they want to keep him off of it for a little while, he's got all of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday to stay off that ankle and tape it up real good. Listen, Bray Wyatt tweaked his ankle big time at WrestleMania before his match with The Undertaker, and he still ended up going out there. So it would say a lot about Rusev if he were unable to compete or refuse to compete. I know the Elimination Chamber is a little bit of a different animal, but I think Rusev needs to be in that match. Otherwise, his downward trend is going to continue. The next bit of news that we've got for you today is that of TNA and Ring of Honor. Now, you might be surprised, ropebreakwrestling.com, of course, is a WWE exclusive website. That's not because we don't watch other promotions or don't like other promotions. We just cover one promotion. We are still fans of TNA, fans of Ring of Honor, fans of PWG. We're fans of all pro wrestling. And the news coming out of TNA and Ring of Honor's camps, respectively, is that Destination America, the network that currently holds TNA for now, or carries TNA for now, is set to add Ring of Honor to their Wednesday night wrestling schedule starting on June 3rd, I believe. And the real reason that this is shocking a lot of people is because the divorce papers, the ink on the divorce papers between Destination America and TNA is still fresh. It was reported that TNA will be dropped by Destination America following this upcoming TV season, or following the TV season that we're in now. So I believe that goes until September. I could be wrong on that. You'll have to double check, fact check that for me and get back to me at I am AuSSy on Twitter. But really, this is very surprising because it's sort of a shift in the tide. For a while now, a lot of people have thought of TNA to be the number 2 promotion, with Ring of Honor just a little bit behind because of the TV deal that they had with Spike TV and now with Destination America. But now Ring of Honor taking TNA's spot on Destination America. There will be a bit of a Wednesday night war between the two for some time for the remainder of this TV season, and that'll be great to see. This is also pretty interesting because some of TNA's top tier talent over the years came from Ring of Honor, similar to WWE. WWE had the CM Punks, had the Daniel Bryans, has the Seth Rollinses now. TNA similarly took AJ Styles, Samoa Joe from Ring of Honor, and now Ring of Honor taking that TV deal from TNA, but we will see some back and forth battle. It'll be interesting to see what they do in terms of, as far as TNA goes, will they work this into storyline or will they just neglect it? I think it's in their best interest to work with this storyline rather than just to avoid it, but that remains to be seen what they will do. Otherwise, I'm pretty interested to see Ring of Honor on a national network like Destination America. It will be very cool to see. The last bit of news we have for you is that of Daniel Bryan, who is scheduled to appear on this upcoming week of Monday Night Raw following the Elimination Chamber. This may come as a surprise to some of you. It came as a surprise to me. I was very surprised, to say the least. Daniel Bryan obviously relinquished the Intercontinental Championship some weeks ago. I have been clamoring for him on our Twitter page to get a non-wrestling role on TV. I think he's still over enough with the crowd where he could be in a authority position, not with the authority, but maybe opposing the authority. And it looks like WWE might pull the trigger on that. We heard some rumors after that that maybe there was going to be a non-wrestling TV role for Daniel Bryan. I think it makes sense. You've got the ties with Brie Bella. You could have him in there as Brie Bella's husband. You could have him on there as a general manager. There's totally several different ways they could go with Daniel Bryan being an on-air talent, not wrestling while he heals. So that remains to be seen exactly what they do with that, but he is scheduled for this upcoming edition of Monday Night Raw. However, he's not advertised for any Raws following that, so it could be a case where he comes in, congratulates the new Intercontinental Champion, says he'll be back, whatever, and then he goes into obscurity for however long it may take him to heal, if he ever does plan on returning. Maybe he's planning on coming back and saying that he can't go anymore and he's going to call it a retirement. Who knows? But I'm just giving you guys the information. This upcoming Monday Night Raw, Daniel Bryan is scheduled to appear. Now, let's talk about this week's Real MVP. The Real MVP segment is one that swept across the sharpshoot boards when I first started it. A lot of people were interested. A lot of people weighed in on Twitter whether they disagreed or agreed with my MVP. And I want you guys to continue to do that. And I think you might have a pretty solid opinion, whether it's good or bad, about this week's Real MVP. I'm picking John Cena as this week's Real MVP. The reason being, I think he did an excellent job selling the feud and the matchup between he and Kevin Owens at Elimination Chamber. I think it's important to notice it's not a title match as far as I know. So it's a champion versus champion match. No belts are on the line. So that makes it a little bit tougher to sell. Obviously, Kevin Owens' prospect status in the WWE is enough to sell the match alone. But John Cena came in. He acknowledged the talent that Kevin Owens is. He acknowledged that many fans in the crowd want Owens to beat him and want Owens to overtake him or dethrone him from his top position in WWE, even citing the Fight Owens Fight chant. I think Cena did a great job selling the feud and selling the match. I'm totally interested in it because of that. So John Cena, this week, you, my friend, are the Real MVP. The next segment of our show is a classic. It's one that's probably the reason why many people were begging for the sharpshoot to come back, and I don't blame you guys. It's time for It's True. It's True. And this week, I'm going to go off of another fan question or fan topic. This one comes from Delta_Nades_U, a.k.a. Ryan Barilla. Ryan has been a longtime fan of the Sharpshoot and of RopeBreakWrestling.com. Ryan asks, where do you see Bray Wyatt at the end of this year? And that's a good question. The reason being, where do I see Bray Wyatt right now is a good place to start. I don't see him at all. It was reported that Bray Wyatt attacked Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns following the SmackDown tapings, but it was dark, so I'm not giving you guys a spoiler. It didn't happen on TV or the tapings as far as we know, but it still happened. Obviously, earlier in the Sharpshoot tonight, I talked about the injury he sustained at WrestleMania with his ankle before the match with The Undertaker. He still wrestled that match, But after that, it looked like they wanted to give him some time off. Then he was thrown into a makeshift feud with Ryback. Now he's kind of just floating in limbo. Really no plans, or so it seems, for Bray Wyatt right now. And I think that, to be perfectly honest with you, Ryan, I think they're dropping the ball with Bray Wyatt. I think Bray Wyatt has been the guy since he's come in that can do all the talking but none of the walking. His introductory feud with Kane, it was so hyped up, it was so anticipated, and he comes in the Inferno match, which we haven't seen in such a long time, and it was a bust. Partially Kane's fault, partially his own fault, partially the booking. And then, since then we've seen his mega feuds with Chris Jericho, with John Cena, and really he hasn't come out of those feuds really any much better than he did going in. I mean, obviously you make the argument anytime you're going toe-to-toe with John Cena and you go for several matches on pay-per-view with John Cena, that's a good enough push in with itself. But at this time, Bray Wyatt is supposed to have become one of the top guys in the business. And right now, at least in my opinion, I can't say that. Without doubt, he's got the talent on the mic and in the ring. It's just the booking that's holding him down right now. I'm not interested, or I wasn't interested in the feud with Ryback, and really, I don't see a feud on the card right now that I would be interested in seeing between Bray Wyatt and somebody else. I just don't know where they should go with him. It really remains to be seen. I know that's a phrase that I use a lot on the show, but you can never really look into a crystal ball and see where they're going with somebody, because you always think they should go one way, but they decide to go another way. And like Triple H has said before, the WWE, and especially Monday Night Raw and all the storylines that go into it, is a never-ending book. So you kind of just wait for the page to turn here for Bray Wyatt. Where do I see him at the end of the year? Hopefully he's back up into a main event caliber feud heading into WrestleMania. But if he's not, they're doing a terrible job with him, and something needs to be addressed within creative. I have faith that Jimmy Jacobs joining that creative team, he'll have some good ideas for Bray Wyatt. I'm hoping the reason he's been giving some time off in the ring is just due to his injury that he sustained at WrestleMania. Hopefully he's continuing to get better and better, and he'll be back better than ever. But until then, WWE Creative, you're dropping the ball on Bray Wyatt. It's true.
It's damn true.
This week we skipped the fan mail segment, or the mail time segment, in favor of the Elimination Chamber predictions that we'll get to in our Sharpshoot segment. A little bit more time will be devoted there. But right now, I got to tell you guys about this return episode of Sharpshoot. If you guys are digging it, if you guys want to see me continue to bring the Sharpshoot back, please do me a couple huge favors, because to be perfectly honest with you, I've said it 100 times, I'm just a regular Joe recording this show in my living room, like you guys are likely in your living room watching it, or in your bedroom watching it. I don't profess to be any smarter of a fan than anybody else that's watching this show. I just do this because you guys dig it, and I dig doing it for you. The problem is, I have a lot of other stuff on my plate as well. So in order to make this show worth it for me, I've got to see some interaction from you guys on Twitter, on this YouTube page. I've got to see some desire to see more of these episodes, and from there we can go on and get guests. I've talked to the Solomonster, Jason Solomon, about coming on the show. He's in. We could get guys like Grimm's Toy Show. We can get several different guests that you guys want on the show here. We'll do our best, but the problem is that takes time and it takes dedication. And if you guys really want to see more of the Sharpshoot and you want to see the Sharpshoot evolve, I need to see the commitment from you guys that you want to see that stuff. So the way you can do that is by liking this video. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can comment on this YouTube video. You can comment on the Facebook post where this video will be posted. You can comment on ropebreakwrestling.com where this video will be posted. You can tweet us at ropebreakwrestling using the hashtag Sharpshoot. Everybody that tweets us using the hashtag Sharpshoot regarding the show will likely get retweeted and possibly followed. It's as simple as that. You can also tweet me at @AuSSy with the hashtag Sharpshoot, and give us suggestions, whether it be topic suggestions or way we can improve the show, or what you think we should do next week. We want to hear all of your feedback for the Sharpshoot and for ropebreakwrestling.com. So definitely make sure you're getting engaged on social media. Let your friends know about the show. Let's get the view count up here. Let's get the like count up. and comments and all that stuff. If that goes up and it continues to stay up, we'll continue to bring you the Sharpshoot and React After Raw. We'll start doing more giveaways and stuff like that. If you're interested in having more giveaways and more guests on the show, the way you can make that happen is by becoming a patron on our patreon.com page, which is patreon.com/ropebreak, I believe. You can go on there and donate any amount of money per month or one time only, and doing that helps us be able to bring you more prize giveaways that are shipped to your door for free, and maybe book some former or potentially current wrestlers to join the show here, which would be excellent. So the more you guys help, the better the show is going to get. And the other way you can donate is by going directly to ropebreakwrestling.com, hitting that PayPal donate button, and helping us out any way you can there. We've had several donations on the PayPal button on our site. Very easy to use. It's a one-time deal, and we'll shout you out. But if you become a patron on our patreon.com page, there are some cool exclusives that you can win on there. So definitely take a look at our patreon.com page and think about donating to ropebreakwrestling.com. All right, now let's roll into the next segment of our show, which is How Do You Like Me Now?
How do you like me now?
This week's How Do You Like Me Now, we kept it rolling with the theme of your fan-suggested topics. This one coming in from Juggla91 on Twitter, who tweeted to us, what is your take on the current state of the WWE Divas division? Wow, what a great question. And this is one that really I'm pretty passionate about, makes me want to pop off on the show pretty much every single week, whether it be React or Sharpshoot or whatever. Let's be perfectly honest with you, WWE is dropping the ball hardcore with the Divas division. And if you don't believe me, watch NXT, watch last night's NXT show, watch NXT Unstoppable, watch any NXT show, and look at the differences between the Divas division on Monday Night Raw and the Divas division or the women's division on NXT. It's night and day. It really is. And it goes to show you that Vince McMahon, Kevin Dunn, Michael Hayes, the old regime really has control over that Monday Night Raw Divas division, and Triple H and Stephanie clearly are holding the glue, or being the glue that's holding that women's division together on NXT. They're really booking their women very strong, with plenty of time to tell stories in the ring, and really that's how you get those women over, rather than throwing them into 3 to 5 minute matches where there's no storytelling, no development going on, whether it be character development or in-ring development. There's multiple Divas matches on NXT. There's one Divas match on Raw. Both of those Divas, I mean, let's take a look. This upcoming Elimination Chamber, we've got one Divas match, and it's for the Divas Championship. It's a triple threat match, so they fit 3 Divas into one match. That's the only Divas match we're getting. And then you take a look at, in comparison to that, at NXT Unstoppable, we just got 2 women's matches, with one being for the title with 2 ladies and another being 4 ladies. So you had a total of 6 women on the card for an NXT pay-per-view. You got a total of 3 on the card for the main roster pay-per-view. And I guarantee you that probably the women's tag match on NXT alone is going to have been given more time than the Divas triple threat match. And what's really sad about that is NXT's pay-per-views are only 2 hours long. The main rosters are 3, so you would think they'd be able to give these ladies 15 minutes in a 3-hour pay-per-view. It's not going to happen, and that's why they're dropping the ball with the Divas division. You look at a diva like Paige, who made a name for herself in NXT and on the Indies. She comes up to the main roster, and she's been treated like an absolute pig. She's gotten the Divas title run on numerous occasions. She's had good feuds with AJ Lee, but they're not giving her or other top-tier women talents like Natalya chances to tell stories in the ring, and that really makes me fearful of when ladies like Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Bailey, when they come up to the main roster, if I see that type of treatment, I'd rather see them on NXT where they're given their time to flourish and get over. Because other than that, I have no interest in what they're feeding me on the main roster Divas division. So Juggling 91, I hope that answers your question. And to Vince McMahon, to Michael P.S. Hayes, to Kevin Dunn, to anybody who has a hand in the Divas division on the main roster, pull your head out of your ass. And how do you like me now?
How do you like me now?
It's time to roll into our Elimination Chamber predictions, which takes the spot of our sharpshoot segment on the show this week. Wow. I have to hand this to WWE. You know, I've kind of been bashing them pretty much the whole show. One thing I have to hand it to them, they did an excellent job with this card for Elimination Chamber. Arguably one of the most exciting cards on a recent pay-per-view that wasn't named WrestleMania or SummerSlam. We've got Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose for the for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. We got Owens versus Cena right away in a champion versus champion match. You've got Neville versus Bo Dallas. And then you've got the Triple Threat Divas match. You've got the 2 chamber matches, which is the Tag Team Chamber match and the IC title match. And we're going to predict those right here, right now. I'm interested to know what your predictions are, too. And you can tell me if you disagree or agree with my predictions by tweeting at Rope Break Wrestling using the hashtag Sharpshoot and the hashtag Elimination Chamber. Let's talk about the championship match first between the Divas. You've got Nikki Bella, Naomi, and Paige. 3 really solid talents in the Divas division. I know Nikki Bella and Brie Bella get a lot of shit just because they're pretty faces, but these girls have improved big time in the ring over the past couple of years, and if they were given the time necessary to tell a story in the ring, they would be able to do so. So I'm excited for this match, hoping that they give them at least 7 to 10 minutes. I'm probably guessing they'll get 5 to 7, but I'm really hoping to see a 7 to 10 minute match at the very least. I think they deserve that. But it is what it is. We're going to see what we're going to see. I'm going to take Naomi in that match to finally get that Divas title that has eluded her for so long, dating back to WrestleMania 30. In the stretch leading up to WrestleMania 30. I think Naomi's ready. I think she's a great heel. She's been doing a great job as a heel. I think Nikki Bella's had it long enough. I think Paige has had it enough over the past couple of months, or rather the last year plus. So I think it's time for Naomi to take the reins and see what she can do. I like what they're doing with her and Tamina. I know Tamina's very, very green in the ring still, even though she's got the heritage. She's been there for a while now. You would expect her to have improved a little bit more than she has, and she hasn't. But I'm still excited to see this match and to see if they finally crown Naomi with the championship that she has deserved for well over a year now. I want to know, do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know on Twitter. Let's talk about the other championship match there between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. This is going to be a great match. Obviously, the two have excellent in-ring and on-screen chemistry. 2 of everybody's favorite in-ring competitors right now. 2 very different styles. Ambrose with a very unorthodox style. Rollins with a very must-see, not to quote The Miz, but very the edge-of-your-seat type stuff from Seth Rollins, and that's what this match is going to be, a very edge-of-your-seat type match. I'm interested to see what happens with the Authority, Kane, J&J Security, how they help, how they do or don't help Seth Rollins win the match, or how they may or may not cost him the match. I don't see a title change here yet, though. Doesn't make much sense to have that big title change at WrestleMania with the big Money in the Bank payoff, cash in. Only for him to drop the title. If he does drop the title to Ambrose, I expect him to get it right back at Money in the Bank. But we'll see what happens there. I'm taking Seth Rollins, though, because I expect that he will retain the championship up until SummerSlam at the very least. So I'm taking Seth Rollins for that match. The next match I'll take is Kevin Owens versus John Cena. Again, this is a non-title match. So this is one that could really go either way. I know a lot of people are immediately thinking, Owens got the upper hand on 2 weeks straight of Monday Night Raw, so there's no way he's going to win at the pay-per-view. That's very likely. It's also likely that they put Owens over here because it's not for John Cena's championship. The big thing that makes me scratch my head is every single Monday on Raw, he's going to give a U.S. Open challenge, yet on the pay-per-view, he's not going to defend the title. Kind of a head-scratcher to me, but I understand the way they're going with Kevin Owens really not caring about the United States Championship. My best bet here is that Kevin Owens gets himself disqualified. He gets himself some big-time heat by hitting Cena with a chair or some object outside of the ring or doing some despicable act. I think he's going to get the upper hand on Cena, really lay the smackdown on Cena. Obviously, he's not going to walk out with the championship. So the way that helps everybody is Cena doesn't look weak because Owens, is disqualifying himself by using a foreign object or a chair or something like that. Owens looks strong because he's whipping Cena's ass, and everybody's protected there because the title stays in the hands of John Cena, and you can continue to build there. Now, here's a here's a scenario that I suggested for Owens, Cena, all this stuff. I'm saying that eventually it would be pretty cool if Owens did, in fact, take the United States Championship from Cena. Not necessarily, obviously not at this pay-per-view, maybe at a different pay-per-view, maybe SummerSlam, who knows. Owens comes in, takes that title from Cena, and then you have, shortly after that, a fully healed Sami Zayn come back to the main roster and go after the likes of Kevin Owens, looking for retaliation. And then you've got a really solid feud between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn over the United States Championship. That would continue the trend of making that title feel very important, and I would sign up for that in a heartbeat. So for now, I'm taking Kevin Owens to lose the match via disqualification, so John Cena wins the match by DQ. Let's see, another match that we've got here. I'm going to talk about Neville versus Bo Dallas before we get into the chamber matches. This one is very easy for me to predict. I predict that Neville overcomes the odds here. He's been getting beaten down by Bo Dallas for a couple weeks now. It's basically conventional, traditional booking. I expect Neville to, like I said, overcome the odds, finally get back at the bully that is Bo Dallas, and there's really not much to talk about there. I expect that to be an easy win for Neville over Bo Dallas, who doesn't really have too much of a long-term position on a pay-per-view card, so to speak. So I expect Neville to make quick work of Bo Dallas. Let's get right into the chamber matches. We'll start with the tag team chamber match. You've got 6 teams in there. You got the primetime players, Los Matadores, Lucha Dragons, Neville, or Kid and Cesaro, New Day, and the Ascension. Those are the 6 teams in there. Again, I don't think the Los Matadores belong in there. I thought it would have made more sense for Rowan and Harper to get in there, but they've really dropped the ball with them as well of late. So, another fault to the creative team for that, in my opinion. But if I have to pick a team, I'm going to go with the New Day to retain the titles, only because they've been so hot as heels. For me, it doesn't make sense to take the straps away from them here. It would be cool to see them cheat somehow. I don't know how they would do it. But being that they're locked up in the chamber, I could also see them losing the match just because they won't be able to have any trickery with the third guy in there. So it remains to be seen. Like I have often said on this show, it remains to be seen whether or not they can retain the titles. But for now, I'm going to take the New Day to retain the tag titles because I believe that's what should happen. They should keep those titles for the time being. If I had to take a backup, if I had to take a second team, I would say it'd be Kid and Cesaro to get those titles back. I don't think they're going to give the titles to the Lucha Dragons just yet, and any of the other teams really don't make much sense to me besides maybe the primetime players, the way they've built them. But we'll see there. For right now, I'm taking the New Day. which brings us to the final match to predict on the show, which is the Intercontinental Championship title match in the Elimination Chamber. We talked earlier about whether or not Rusev would be able to battle in there. We're going to say Rusev's in there for the sake of this argument right now. There's still really not much of an argument. You've got King Barrett, Sheamus, Rusev, Ryback, R-Truth, and one other guy that's slipping my mind right now in that match, Dolph Ziggler. I don't know which way it's going to happen. There's a couple different ways they could go with this. In my personal opinion, I would like to see a guy like Ziggler get that title back, just because that would add some beef to the Rusev-Ziggler feud. But at the same time, I don't think they need necessarily beef to the Rusev-Ziggler feud. I think they could keep Lana as the ultimate prize in that feud, and then give the title to Sheamus, which I believe is what they're going to do. Put that title on a heel. You've got Cena as a face holding the U.S. Championship, and you could have Sheamus as a heel holding the Intercontinental Championship. And from there, you could go a number of ways with Sheamus. Maybe you have Neville go up against Sheamus for that championship. Other than that, you know, there's really not much they could do. Obviously, Rusev's a heel. He's tied into a feud with Ziggler. Ziggler just got out of a feud with Sheamus, so that doesn't make sense. Barrett's a heel, so you wouldn't see a heel versus heel there. I don't know who would challenge and feud with Sheamus over the Intercontinental Championship after this chamber match, but I'm picking Sheamus to come out Intercontinental Champion, and deservingly so. He's done a great job as a heel of late, but that does it for my predictions. I appreciate you guys tuning in to this week's edition of the Sharpshoot with AuSSy. It's been fun bringing the show back to you. I will, like I said, continue to do so each week if you continue to show interest. So do so by tweeting using the hashtag Sharpshoot to @RopeBreakWrestling and @IamAuSSy. Comment on this video here. Tell me whether or not you liked it, what I can do better, what you want to see next week. Let us know topic suggestions for next week. And tell all your friends. Just tweeting out using the hashtag to all of your followers will get you retweeted and followed by us. And we also keep that in mind for future prize giveaways. If you're out on the streets hitting the concrete, telling your friends, you're going on social media and giving out all the links, you're commenting on the YouTube videos, you're liking the YouTube videos, you subscribe to the channel, you throw us $1 or $2 here on Patreon or on PayPal, you're going to have a better chance to win those prizes. So do yourself a favor and help us help you. We are a site for the fans, by the fans. But for now, and for the Sharpshoot, and for RopeBreakWrestling.com, I am AuSSy. We'll catch you guys next week for the Sharpshoot. Have a good one.